Today's topic is, see, we already have a full house, merging employee engagement and succession planning. The panelists have 15 minutes each, then we have 30 minutes of Q&A. Take notes, you have a notepad in your folder. Please turn off your cell phones. Please do not text. Please be considerate of your speakers and leave after the Q&A, which will end sharply at 9:28. So you can hang in there. The first topic today is employee engagement techniques, presented by Kevin Kahn, SPHR. Kevin is the SVP of Human Resources for the Americas at Halcro Inc., a global leader in infrastructure and development worldwide. It is headquartered in the UK. And the first handouts you have here for Kevin, you can take those out. Fantastic handouts this morning. Okay, take it away, Kevin. Let's give him an applause.
Thank you, Kate. Today I'll be speaking about my experience with employment engagement and also be interweaving in some social networking activities and how that's went for us, what's worked well, what's been less well. You've probably never heard of Halcro. We're an engineering firm. We specialize, as Kate said, in infrastructure development. We work on roads, bridges, tunnels, ports, maritime structures, the built environment. We're based in the UK. We have about 6,000 employees globally working in over 90 countries. My responsibility is for HR in the Americas, which is from Argentina to Canada, and that's about 700 employees. Some of the projects we've worked on, the Intrepid Pier, the World Financial Center, a $36 billion tourism island off Abu Dhabi called Yas Island, which is really amazing, and the city center in Las Vegas. So we work on some very high-profile, very complex projects. The spirit of our business, the ethos of our business is to sustain and improve the quality of people's lives, and that is really a part of who we are and the projects we take on. We're a values-driven company. We have a foundation that supports employees' interest in charitable giving. You fill out an application for a grant, and if it's approved, if it's aligned with our ethos, we give you the money to then manage with a nonprofit. And that's been really a very nice aspect of working for Halcro. So the challenges we faced, how do we attract talent to grow our business? How do we retain our highly skilled professionals? And how do we deal with this whole Generation Y millennial thing? So the background is Halcro had 10 employees here in the early 2000s in the US. In 2005, they acquired a highly regarded engineering partnership in Canada and one here in the US. They went from 10 employees to 350 overnight. That was in 2005. As part of the purchase agreements, there wasn't going to be much change happening. I joined the company at the end of 2007. A new president was hired a month before me, an industry leader with 30-plus years experience, and very much about people and understood this was a talent-based business. So what I found, it was a very basic HR function, administratively focused, task-oriented. The basics were there. Didn't have much credibility. It was seen as an overhead cost center. It was ignored. And my remit from my boss here and from the global HR director was to try to move this company to be recognized as an employer of choice. And so we've started on that path, but we still have quite a long way to go. So when you talk about employee engagement, what it really is about the amount of commitment and passion people have for their work. Engaged employees, statistics show, are 20% more giving a performance premium than non-engaged employees. And many companies that have high employee engagement indexes are very profitable and successful in their industries. So the very beginning steps was to get the leadership buy-in. I knew that we had to start doing things differently. We had to show the value that HR could bring. Fortunately, my boss, who runs North America, was very much about people, and having that buy-in up front was very, very helpful to be able to move an agenda forward. I had to gain credibility with the stakeholders, so I talked to people. I said to my team, all right, tell me who are the people who are the thought leaders, who have the big mouths, who's drinking the HR haterade, who do I have to speak to really understand what's happening. I looked at staff survey information. That was very informative. We had done a global staff survey, and there was quite a lot that had to be fixed. The benefits, the communication, the feedback, the recruiting process, and that was all helping to inform what the engagement initiatives would be going forward. So first, I got the basics right. We're about premium engineering services. We hire top talent. We charge a fair buck for the services. These people who are in front of our clients are giving their all day in and day out. They should get the same from an HR team. So a quick win was to demystify what we do. People really weren't sure what we did and what was available to them. So we put together an HR service directory, one in the US and one in Canada, set up an email box, myhr@halcro.com. So even if you didn't look at your directory, if you needed to get a response to a question, needed information for an RFP that was going out, you just send an email to that one click and someone will respond to you. So that went over pretty well. On the talent acquisition front, when I joined, there were 80 jobs continuously trying to get filled. We had 4 contract recruiters working around the US, paying a lot of money. There was no strategy, there was no alignment. So we put together a talent acquisition strategy, and I used my own experience in interviewing as part of this, having gone through many job searches, going to a company, sitting in a conference room for 45 minutes. The interviewer breezes in, doesn't apologize, takes out a nail clipper. 2-hour phone interview, go to a company for an afternoon of interviews, 90 degrees, in my suit, sitting in a reception area full of people. Someone comes out, sorry, the job's been filled, we've got to call you. So I didn't want that experience to be part of what it is. And we're also unknown here. We're relatively small. We compete against companies with tens of thousands of employees in North America. So we wanted to make the engagement from the first point of contact. So we trained our people in our offices. We have about 24 offices around the US and Canada, so that when someone comes in, they're greeted properly, they're shown the restroom, they're given a glass of water, given a copy of our employee magazine, and if the interviewer is going to be 10 minutes late or more, someone comes out and explains to them why the interview is going to be delayed. And we've gotten very good feedback about that. And people say, wow, this wasn't the right job for me, or I'm sorry I didn't get the job. But I hear from my recruiting team and from other employees that it's gone well, and people see us as something different, as something a little better than they may have experienced elsewhere. All of our engagement initiatives are aligned with our values. We have values moments. We share our values at the start of many meetings. It's very important to us as a company, and our clients, it resonates with them as well. They feel that they're working with a company that's very principled. We're at the forefront globally of anti-corruption and anti-bribery legislation, which in emerging markets is a very big issue. So the talent acquisition piece, part of that strategy was social networking. My recruiters are marketers who come from an agency background. We were able to make a very strong impact on how we bring in talent by using things like LinkedIn for business, Zoom info, looking at conference attendees, setting up a Twitter account where we tweet out our jobs. That's been very, very helpful to us, and it's brought us a lot of people. But social networking through those sources is not the be-all and end-all. We're an affirmative action employer. We're a government contractor. We need to attract a diverse workforce, not only because of the legal requirements, because it's the right thing to do, and it's absolutely about our values. So we also post jobs on websites that attract a very diverse, broad group of people. But through the social networking initiatives, we were able to, over a 2-year period, save 70% on the recruiting fees, as opposed to going through a traditional agency or bringing in contract recruiters as we were doing in the past. We also have a very good referral program, a staff referral program. In your handout, there's a poster that shows that we pay up to $3,000 for certain jobs. Well, actually, we're now paying up to $8,000 for a strategic hire that we would normally give to a retained search firm. And over the last 2.5 years, we've hired 2 people that way. Industry leaders that a search firm would have probably found for us, but 2 of our people knew these people from the industry, and we were happy to pay them the money. We heralded in our employee newsletter, and we now hire about 37% of our people through the employee referral program. So that's gone very well for us. There was a lot of pushback about that, why are we paying so much money? But when you look at about the cost benefits, it makes a lot of sense. So that was a very good starting point for engaging with our candidates. Through our survey, we found out we have to do a lot more with communication and feedback. So we've set up a group called the Work-Life Working Group. And what that group does is they talk to each other, they talk with management, but it's not an employee-sponsored union. We don't ask them about terms and conditions. They've looked at some policies that HR has put together, talked to their coworkers, gotten feedback before it goes out, so we've made tweak some language here and there. They helped inform us on a flexible working policy, so we're now in a 2-month trial on a compressed work week. And they share ideas, they share experiences, they share client stories, ask about the change program, which we've just completed, which has been really delaying our organization, lots of change, and it's been very helpful. And it's a good two-way interaction between management and employees and each other. And we have that in the U.S., and now we're expanding it to Canada and Latin America. Our regional managing director, Bob, goes out to offices, and here in the New York office where we're headquartered for the Americas, he has breakfast meetings. 2 weeks before the meeting, you get a mug with our logo on your desk with a little from the desk of type message about the meeting and a little thing of Pepperidge Farm cookies. Come to the breakfast meeting and speak to Bob. And sometimes I attend, or one of my team members attends. Again, another opportunity to hear from employees, to talk about our strategy, where's the business going, what's happening with clients, projects, etc. It's been very well received. Onboarding, the orientation program we had was crap, really crap. And we're a complex global organization, highly matrixed, lots of systems, lots of processes. So we interviewed 17 people hired in the last 3 years. We had some ideas about onboarding. We wanted to know what you want, what was missing when you came to this company. So from those interviews, we put together a program called Life at Halcro. It's not online yet, but it will be, but it's a big binder with lots of sections in it. You also get a folder with a little welcome strap on it, which talks about who's your team, your lead person who coordinates your schedule, a colleague who helps you learn the office, the social interaction piece, your manager who tells you about your performance expectations, and our learning partner who coordinates all the training aspects of it. It's a 3-month program, and in the binder, and this is very much based on the new hire feedback, we have the company overview, the handbook, an insider's guide, and a local resources guide. We have a whole section on acronyms. In a technical company, there's dozens of acronyms. We have a section on British English. We don't call new hires, we call them joiners. We call people who resign leavers. We call people who are laid off redundant. If you're very tired, you're knackered. The parking lot is the car park. So we have all of that there. It sounds stupid, but people don't know. I remember someone said, I got an email from my boss in Swindon. What does knackered mean? So we include that there. The most important piece of it that people really like is the local resources guide. In our smaller offices especially, it has all of the information about the office, how to get there, where to park, the building access, the tenant access, the filing system, the phone system. So all this stuff is covered. And we, of course, talk to people about it. We don't just throw it at them, but it's an interactive session with HR and managers. And then there's the social piece. We give people lunch passes. Take your colleague to lunch, take your boss to lunch. Of course, there was pushback on that. What if they go to the Four Seasons? I said, really? So that hasn't been a problem for us at all. How we connect with the millennials. We have a new professionals network group we started last year. These are people 5+ years or so out of college. It's similar to our Work-Like Working group, but they're really giving us a lot of information on our social networking strategy. They told us, don't come to us looking for a job through Facebook. I know that's counter to what a lot of you have seen and what I've seen, but they said, so Facebook is about our personal space. Set up a Facebook page, talk about your jobs there, set up a Twitter page. If we want to follow you, we'll follow you, or we'll just look at you. And we use Twitter as well to find talent. But we also use social networking internally. We've set up through basecamphq.com a collaborative tool for this group to work and share information to new professionals. It's not hosted by the company. We don't look at it, so they can talk about projects, challenges they're facing with clients. We have meetings with them. And now we're going to bring them into the client presentations when we are called in after they've looked at our RFP, because they are informing us, this group, about different ways of communicating. Many of the people that we meet as an engineering firm are not engineers when we present. They're leaders of a government, perhaps, or leaders of a company. And this New Professionals Network is really informing us on how we communicate. And they're learning something, we're learning something. We're trying to connect with the university. We've set up some collaborative materials we've created, a Make It Happen campaign with a book about all of many of our projects, staff profiles, and we also give away a little passport with resume and interview tips, which has gone over pretty well. That's kind of where we're at. We have a lot more to do. We do internal social networking through our intranet. We have an Ask Halcro. Any question you want, you put it up there. Any employee can respond. We have discussion boards based on technical specialties where people could ask questions. And when we went through our change program, we set up a LinkedIn page for employees to be able to ask questions. And you'd be amazed at the really in-depth, much more politically incorrect questions that people pose sitting at home on LinkedIn than they would through the company's internal communication mechanisms. So social networking, in summary, has been good for us. It's helped us. We have a lot more to do with it. My takeaway on employee engagement from what we've done is that it's helped us in many ways, tangible, positive results by giving people an opportunity to give input and influence into their employment experience. Thank you.